Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new around here. My name is Ashley and I go by the Ashleyness here. Today we are playing Planet Zoo and this is my Esme Zoo number 14. And we have quite the build on our hands today. We are going to pack in all of these animals into one building build. And I call it the bird's nest. Now, as you can see, we have really done a lot of work here in this zoo as we fly through, and this is all of our primates and they are all done in this section. As you can see, it's just so beautiful and full of life and people and lush greenery. And they're running around at full speed. Then we have some just little river areas here. We have the chimpanzees running. And there in the corner we have our beautiful education center. And then as you can see, as we glide through here and make a turn, we have our beautiful wetlands area, which is going to be dedicated to our bird sanctuary. Now, while we have all these other areas zoned out and ready to go, we are going to focus on this ginormous building here in the back. This building is the bird's nest. Now, I originally called it the bird house, but I'm calling it the bird nest this time. I might change my mind later, but for now it's the bird's nest. So as you can see, it's zoned out as well and it is ready to go. It's got a little bit of landscaping going and it's got some different colors for the walls that are up, for the temporary walls, and that is to help remind me of what's going on. So we are going to start off with as you will see as we zoom in, with the king penguin. And this blue, as you will see, means that we are going to have this as a water viewing area for underwater. So we're going to get in and it's going to move really quick because we have quite a lot of work to do. And so I hope you don't get dizzy. But yeah, so I start off with just doing the fencing here along this line. It was kind of a challenge for me. It was kind of being a little stink. Because I think I was just way too close to the path there. So as you see, I kind of dip it out or angle it out and then go from there. So from here we just add the water and then I make it more clear, give it some bubbles because I feel like if it's deeper water it should have bubbles. Here I'm just putting in the null barrier and just go following all the way around the edge as best I can. It's kind of tricky because it's in a circle. And then here we go through here. And these will have custom walls. But first we're going to go ahead and get rid of the temporary walls. And then we're going to put in some of the air conditioning, the cooling units, so that we can get this area to be cold enough for the king penguin and its snowy environment. Because this area will have snow in this enclosure, this habitat. So I'm just hitting play just so we have a little time and we can get it cool enough to do the snow. Just adding in the terrain work, getting it all prepped and ready to go. And then I'm going to start in with our custom walls here. And I've been doing a lot of brick work, and so I'm trying to continue that through here, but it's going to be low so the guests can see in and down into these low water areas. So they have brick and glass. And then I'm just kind of continuing it over here, even though it's probably not necessary, just for the sake of, you know, appearances, that it would look like, you know, still a safe space for them. And then over here, I'm going to put my gate. And I'm just going to kind of hide it in there. And I already have my king penguins picked out, so I'm just going to start having them transport in, because it will take a little bit of time while I go ahead and finish up over here. And this is going to be a taller wall because we are going to have another habitat on the other side. This is going to be... I can't remember. I did a lot. I'll show you when we get to it, but yeah. And so then just doing a little maintenance here and there, and then making sure we can't escape. Even though I'm in sandbox mode and they actually can't escape, I like to try to make it where it's as realistic as possible. You know, where if it's saying they can escape, I try not to let them do that, because then it, you know, they get boxed up and everything else, and it's annoying. So just zipping around, making sure everything's good and that they can get everywhere. And I found out they couldn't. And so we had to do some troubleshooting here. So I decided this glass platform would do well, and then it made it where they could go everywhere. And then I was like, okay, let's see. So now we got these guys and we can do the enrichments. Look at them all. I got a lot. It's a really big space, so I got quite a few of the penguins. And then here, I like to do my rock work before my foliage typically, just because it's easier to kind of lay out and make it look more natural. And just making that look a little nicer there. I love my rocks. I always use a lot. And I think a lot of people kind of forget to do the rocks under the water too, but it looks so nice when you do, in my opinion anyways. So yeah, we were just chugging along. We were almost done. And then I did these rock pillars underneath this hidden path. This raised path to make it look a little bit more supported. And then just doing like, kind of trying to make it look natural, like where the rocks would maybe be fallen. And I mean, clearly these are artificial, you know, or they've been brought in. This isn't a natural land formation, you know, especially inside a building, but you know, it still looks cool. And then I just making sure that both the staff and the animals can traverse. And I found out they couldn't get into the water, so then I had a fight with that. It's always something, isn't it? So here I'm just fussing with it little by little, and then I got it. It was just that one rock needed to go up a teensy bit higher. And then we're going to go back to the enrichments. And for this one, a lot of people have trouble with it, but if you do it, I'm not really sure if it needs to be all 4 lines need to be blue, or if just at least a couple need to be blue, but I did a couple. Hopefully it works. And then here I'm just spreading out the toys and the feeding boxes and all the other bits and pieces so that it all works out. And it kind of spreads out. And I did a few of these little platform beds to get them up off the snow. And like realistically, they don't need any of this stuff, but like it looks really a lot better to have just some of this like dry grass kind of poking through. And then of course we need to have some grass down here, some foliage here just to make it look a little more realistic, a little more lively. And then, you know, get some ice formations going to make it look a little more Arctic-y. I'm not sure if that's a word, Arctic-y. Well, it is now. I made it up. Anyway, just spreading out the ice throughout, just making it look nicer. And then I kind of played with the idea of doing like more ice in the water, but then I was like, like icebergs, but I decided against it. And then I always forget the signs, and so I decided to build it like this. And then I did our little education station over there. And then I did another one of these signs over there. Right here, I should say. And then just doing some speakers on this side so the education's kind of spread out. And then here again, I like to do my little deco if I can. I did find these little guys, and so I thought they looked really cute. Whoops. So then I put the penguins on the rocks. And it was really funny actually, because when I did do that, my daughter saw me and she thought they were real penguins on the rocks, and I had to assure her they had not escaped. All right, so we're gonna change gears and we're gonna go and build a kiwi habitat. Now the kiwis need a darker room area because they're nocturnal, and so this one is painted black for the temporary walls to indicate that need. They're also quite small, so they don't need a lot of space. Like I said, this is kind of rapid fire. I will do a like a little tour at the end, kind of so we can remember all the work that we've done and see all the creatures in motion. So here I did the one-way glass, and then I'm doing the brick to create the walls. And I'm just kind of going all the way around. And then I decided not to go right there because it's kind of a weird little notch right there, nook right there. And so it's going to be a little bit of work, but we got it. It turns out great, as always. It always somehow manages it. So I decided that they didn't need quite so much glass there. And so I decided to do just a small viewing space. We want to be very respectful of the kiwis' needs. And instead of doing the white painted brick, I'm doing a black painted brick. And I'm just getting rid of more of the temporary walls now that I've got my outline. And then my doorway, of course, finishing off the top there. And then just doing this border here. I always feel like it looks so nice when it's got a border. A lot of people don't do the borders around the glass, or at least not that I've noticed, but I think it really makes just helps. Helps a lot. And I realized it was a little crooked. So I had to fix it. OCD brain, I had to fix it. It's looking so good already. It's got a great layout. We're just gonna continue through with our border. And I had a little fun here with the lighting. Couldn't help myself. I wanted it to look like stars, and then I forgot that I had to turn them on before I put them down, and so I had to this was a little tedious going through and picking them all and turning them on, and then I copy pasted them. And I just do them on the back wall here. I didn't want to overdo it. I kind of wish I had in retrospect, but like it does look really pretty. And so here we're just buying the kiwis and just gonna pop them on in. And then we're gonna get the enrichment going for them while we wait. And you know, they're so tiny, they don't need too much. But we want to make it work for them. We want them to be comfortable. And then we just kind of wait a little bit for them to show up so that we can get the proper foliage in here. Because they are tropical, or more tropical than, like, say, the king penguin with their icy areas. Here they are. They're so cute. They're so tiny. Got that all sorted out. And then I, like, really wanted trees in here, but of course it's going to have a roof. So you couldn't really do too tall of trees. But I'm using all of these lovely bits. And I thought the idea of mushrooms in their little foraging pit was a really cool idea. I think it just really made it pop. And then I love those king ferns or whatever they're called. They're just so pretty. And the bracken. I love my bracken. Wanted them to have privacy away from the window, even though it's a one-way, or you know what I mean. It's like that darker sided one. I think it's called one-way. Now that I'm talking about it, I can't think about the name. But I wanted it to feel like they could still kind of hide away. And man, look at all the people. Whew. So then just doing a little trim here. And I changed my mind. Doing my informations. And then I had to check on those guys and make sure they were doing good. And they are. And we're going to move on to the peafowl. The Indian peafowl. And so they're just going to be here in the middle. The idea was that it was going to be kind of a low barrier. So that like when you walk in, that the main like, wow, is the king penguins. So they're here in the middle. It's going to be, like I said, low. But they do have quite a bit of space to roam because they do have babies very quickly. So you have to be really mindful of that. And then I was getting a little overcrowded on some of my critters, and so I had to do some maintenance. That's the tricky part of playing on play and not on pause, is that the rest of the zoo needs your attention. And you're trying not to hyper focus on them because you're trying to build, but then you're like, well, I do need to do my zoo stuff too. It's hard to multi-manage, especially, or multitask, because it is a lot. So here I've paused the game so I don't get distracted. And then here we're just going to continue the similar kind of low barrier with brick and glass, and then just carry it through. Just like we did with the king penguins. And it was kind of off a little bit there on the edging, and so I just kind of had to sort that out. Get my barriers down. Love my null barriers. And you should too. If you're not using them, you may want to consider it, because like you see how quick and easy it is to make your own walls. It's ridiculous. Because I like the null barriers. One, because it looks better. You can make a better looking fence. But two, your maintenance guys don't have to like come and deal with it. The only thing they really maintenance when you have these is the gate, and the gate doesn't deteriorate. So kind of rhymed. So yeah, so it's one of those things, like if you kind of just do it, it's not it's got multiple benefits to consider. So anyway, here we go. We're just getting these guys all laid out, ready to go again. Like I said, this is rapid fire. We're moving pretty quick. We got lots to do. And it's looking more and more pulled together as we go. Even with just the two in there, it just looks all the way, it looks so good already. So then we're gonna kind of pop over a little bit while we wait for the peafowl to come, and we're gonna start creating for the African penguin over here. We're kind of multitasking, and it works. It is a little tricky. They're pretty small, so I didn't want or need the swim area to be quite as large. So now that the peafowl is in, we're able to pop back over and take care of those. So I do this a lot when I'm building, especially off camera. I usually just I'll pop into multiple locations as I'm building and creating similar things, especially in a building situation like this. So this is kind of an example of how I do it. So hopefully it's inspiring and you can follow my madness. So I want them to look lush. It's quite the contrast. I know I said I wanted it to be like low. Oh, we got little guys coming. I know I said I wanted it to be a low barrier and you just look across, and you still kind of can. It's not that bad. But it's not quite what I had originally planned, but it is really pretty and refreshing. So here we're just back over at the African penguins. Now that the peafowl are done, that's 3 done already. So now we're just making the little back area here. And then we're just gonna make our walls. And this is a little weird nook that they're in over here, so it is a little awkward, but it works. Luckily they're tiny. I mean, they're not as tiny as like the little penguins, which we're gonna work on here soon, but they're not too big. Just finishing up my barriers. Now to get the African penguins in. And they also reproduce quite fast. While we wait for them, we're gonna get the little penguins started. Like I said, this was a lot. This was a lot to take on, a lot to chew on. Now for them, I am doing an underwater viewing. I'm not doing as a dome versus the the fence line. And I did have a struggle with that. I haven't used the dome that much, so it is kind of a struggle for me for a second there, but then I figure it all out. But yeah, it needed the water to be over the top of it, and so it just was like fighting me a little bit. So So here we're popped back over to these guys because they finally have arrived. And then we're just gonna make sure it looks amazing. I really love how all these turned out. They really just, I don't know, I love it. I know it's mostly penguins in here, but because I couldn't really figure out like where to put them on the outside, to be honest, and I was trying to get all the birds in, and so it was a matter of I was gonna make a penguin house, and then I realized I didn't really have a spot for the peafowl or the kiwi, and so then I figured, you know what, we'll call it the bird nest or bird house, you know, versus the penguin house, and just kind of went from there. But it's looking really lovely. It's looking very kind of deserty, tropical, kind of savanna-y vibes to it. And here we had another issue where they couldn't quite get in there, and so I had to move some stuff around. And then they were able to get in there, and then here comes the guest. They're just streaming in. And now we're gonna move over to here. We're gonna take a quick break from habitats and get these houses figured out, or these facilities figured out, because they're just kind of eyesores and it's bugging me. And just continuing through with our normal look throughout the rest of the zoo. We're gonna pop over and take care of these guys real quick. Same theme kind of deal, but because it's kind of like the pre-made stuff, like shapes, like the like the doors and the window shape, I have to like kind of use a solid brick versus like the toned, like I've been doing, like where I do the brick, then I do the white brick, then I do the, you know, you have to just kind of do it, and it still looks good in my opinion. I really like it. We're actually getting pretty close to the end, you guys. We just have to finish up doing the little penguins, and then we're done with this. And and the roof. We have to do the roof. The roof is already made. I just have to pop it on the top. I really try to pre-set these guys up for success, so this video could happen all in one go, instead of doing like 3 different or 4 different episodes just for this house. Because it is a lot of work, but you know, I think it really streamlined it. That's the word. Streamlined the process and made it look really good and moved really fast. And the little penguins are so sweet. Look at all of these people, my goodness. It is kind of weird how they swarm. Like, it's like, come on, it's not that exciting. I mean, I guess it is, but... oh, goodness. Quick saves. Always want to save. My Sims have taught me well. And we're gonna get quite a few of these little guys because it's kind of a large space. Oh, and then I forgot to do the gate. Small detail, right? Okay, so while we wait for them, we're just gonna do some decorating. That's a balloon shadow. At first I thought it was like a bug or something, like in real life, and I was like, what is that? But it was just a balloon shadow. And then remembering that I need to do signage. So I was like, oh yeah, I still haven't done signs over here. So I had to get that set up. And there they are. They're so tiny. They aren't kidding when they call them little. So here we got it filtered for their needs, for their foliage and things like that. So we're just going ahead and decorating it up. They won't need any hard shelter once the roof is on, so we don't have to stress about that. I do barriers if I need to, or if they like ask for it, because like, why not, you know? They can get some privacy. There we go, and we get 2 in there for them. I love the bubbles. And the little bounce of the duck. The duck is like bigger than them almost. It's ridiculous. They're so sweet. Okay. And then we're just gonna do some signage, and we are about to do the tour. Yeah, so let's see here. We have a little more decorating to do real quick, but I'm gonna do that later off screen. But here's what it looks like from the top view. Look at all the people. That's crazy. But yeah, you can see all our different areas that we created. It just looks really beautiful, really well decorated. Very, very lush. I would want to go in here. It looks really cool. I can only imagine the noises that they make in there. We do have quite a lot of work on the around them to do. And then here's the roof that I made for them. And then I'm just going to pop it on top. It might take me a couple tries. Let's see. Yeah. I, again, just was trying to save some time. Almost. I know it doesn't look like we're moving, but we are. We're doing really itty bitty movements, trying to get it to be just right. Okay. I think we got it. Now let's take a look. Yes. Our new giant building. Not bad. Okay, so let's take a quick little tour. We still have to do some decorating on the outside here, but it's okay. So as we come in, we're coming in on this kind of the back side, and so you can see the king penguin area. And they are, or should be, swimming. Well, they're about to. Let's see here. Come on. Get in there. He's right there at the top. Oh, and there's one in the water right there. There they go. They're kind of doing it. They're not zipping around like they were earlier, but they can clearly use it. They enjoy it, and it looks very pretty. And then as we go around, you can see that this is a lower barrier here. We're going to backtrack to the kiwi house really quickly and kind of peek inside there. I know it's kind of frustrating trying to look through with all the guests there, but it is what it is, I suppose. Trying to get a good look. But you can see them creeping around. I'm going to pop in just so we can see them more clearly through the glass. And oh, look them go. Nice dark little space. So then we'll just peek in to here. I believe we already have babies. Yep, there they are. I think. Pretty sure. Look like babies. Yeah, so they're thriving already. They're doing their thing. Over here is the little penguins, as you saw. And we can't really see any because they're so teensy. There they are. They're so sweet. And then if we go this way through the brush, oh my goodness, we're lost in the people. Gotta get out of there. From above, not from down below, unfortunately, you can see our African penguins here. And then our beautiful roof and just kind of an overview. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That was a lot of work in one video, and I think it took me a couple hours, maybe 3 or 4 to get it done, but it got done and I love it so much. I think it's a great addition to our zoo. I really hope to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. I hope you are inspired, but most of all, I hope you have a beautiful day, night, or whatever time it is for you. Bye.